The big moment is here. You finally see those 2 lines on the pregnancy test, and an overwhelming amount of different emotions hits you all at one time. There's excitement, there's relief, but at the same time, there's stress and there's overwhelm, and there's all these different things that you're already thinking about. You're trying to plan out what the nursery might look like, and what car seat are you gonna pick, and what gender is this baby gonna be. You have so many rushing emotions and thoughts, and that is amazing, and that is what is so fun about pregnancy. But it can also be overwhelming and stressful, especially depending on what your pregnancy journey and fertility journey was like. So let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about what stress in pregnancy looks like, how it affects both mom and then baby into the future, and what you can do to measure and track it and make sure that you're preparing for an awesome birth experience and making sure that your newborn is set up on the best footing possible for their health as well. What we're talking about here when we use that stress word is really the autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system are the 2 different branches of what is called your fight or flight, or your stress, your sympathetic mode. We call that the gas pedal here at Thrive, or your parasympathetic function, your brakes. That is all mediated through the vagus nerve. This vagus nerve at the top of the neck is what regulates that balance, because it's what controls the brake pedal. We need to be in a positive, calming state during pregnancy, because that brake pedal, not the fight or flight mode, but the brake pedal is what controls our rest and our relaxation and our digestion and our immune system, and specifically for kids, that optimal wellness, growth, and development that we want them to be on. How you are experiencing the world, mom, in that stress balance is intimately affecting your baby. You guys are connected, you know this, but in maybe more ways than you realized, through that umbilical cord. You're connected in the sense that you're sharing and giving them all the nutrients and the fuel that they need. But also, when your stress response turns on, when you're in that fight or flight, more anxious state, those cortisol, epinephrine, adrenaline hormones get pumped into your baby as well. And that's a good thing. That is a good design if we were trying to prepare a kid for survival, right? If we lived in a place where it's a war zone, we're just a caveman who doesn't need to worry about anything other than surviving another day, you want your baby primed for those fight or flight modes. But that's not reality for where we're living, and that's not what we want for our kids, right? We don't want them to just be stuck in a primitive survival, just do you live or not state. We want them to be able to have those higher level cognitive functions as they get older. And so that balance is going to not just be affecting you and how that birth process is going to go, it's going to be affecting their starting point for development too. Now, I need to quickly, even though that's not the point of this video, add a little side tangent here, saying that, Mom, I do not want you to feel guilty about that, right? The point of me saying that isn't for you now to be more stressed about your stress and have this downward spiral that doesn't serve anything. It's just to bring awareness to it and give you, even more importantly, some action steps to do something about it. Because there are things that are outside of our control, right? There's birth experiences that are not what we wished had happened, and we can absolutely undo that. We can absolutely get ahead of it and undo some of the negatives that would typically come, but it has to start with being aware of it. So don't take me saying that, and maybe you have an older kiddo who you had that sort of pregnancy experience. Don't beat yourself up and make yourself feel guilty about that. That does not serve at all, and that you did the best with the information you had at the time. What I want you to hear from this is that there's a reason and there's an explanation as to why maybe there's some struggles if that was your journey, and there is a way out of it. So what we need to do is be aware of how we are handling life and how we are handling these different stressors at the time. The way that we do that actually is through some technology called HRV, or heart rate variability. That HRV metric is a measurement of that vagus nerve. That first thing I mentioned, that calming brake pedal side of a nervous system that comes at the very base of your skull and runs by those first couple cervical vertebrae. This HRV metric is something that tracks your ability to handle stress. It tracks how well are we handling whatever life is throwing your way. That is one of the things that we do as a part of our initial scans and evaluation for all of our pregnant moms here at Thrive when they're seeking out prenatal chiropractic care. And that's something I would really encourage you to look at. If you are wondering if this is something that you're dealing with, if you want to just make sure that your stress system, your adaptability is regulating as well as possible, well, let's start by measuring it. And if we do have some ways that we're struggling, let's put together a plan to get you off of that path and into a better place of wellness and feeling amazing and preparing for that positive birth experience that is going to set your newborn up for their best possible chance for health too. Guys, I know that's just a little quick hitter tidbit on stress and prenatal neurology, but please send us a message. Let's dig into this more. If you have other thoughts or questions, we'd love to chat about that. We'd love to help you out if that's something that you need and something we can do for you.